Josh,
Hi, how's it going?
you are right on the money, sir. I like that because, drummers are supposed to have perfect timing, right?
Oh, exactly. And I'm glad to be able to do that. And with that, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Oh, dude, you two, where are you at, by the way?
I'm in Minnesota.
Oh, is it cold?
Oh, yeah, just it's continuing to snow here right now, actually.
Oh, dude, snow, what's that? I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. It's a good reason to stay in and be able to do a great interview with someone that's is not dealing with the snow right now, thankfully.
Definitely not dealing with the snow. No. And I have to tell you, I'm not sorry. But it looks pretty, but I don't want to be in it.
I completely understand. And in a different situation, I'd love to be in that situation as well.
But you're doing good? Are you playing? Are you busy?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing a lot of interviews here with my show. I am playing in between bands right now, but I am playing right now, and it's going good.
Excellent. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. I'm just happy to be going, period.
Yeah, and that's such a great thing, too. I mean, with everything that you've accomplished so far in your career right now and everything that's been going on in the last few years, it's great to be able to see that you have another band that you are able to call your own with Black Swan.
Oh, dude, I've told almost everybody this. I can't believe that I'm actually part of this. It's the easily by far, it's the best sounding record I've ever been on. My vocals sound like who I always wanted to sound like. Jeff Pilson did an absolute masterful job on engineering and producing. Red Beach is an absolute monster guitar player, and he plays completely different than he does with Whitesnake and Winger, and he's kind of nasty on this one, and he just pulled out all the stops. Matt Starr, monster drummer. I'm in a good place. It's a killer band. It's an absolute killer band, and a great record. I'm very, very proud of this Black Swan record.
Oh, and yeah, and I'm so thankful to have been able to check it out in advance as well. I mean, for this interview, and being able to check it out a week ahead of time as well, too. I mean, with the fact that this album is coming out a week from today, how does it feel to have...
today? Happy Valentine's Day is what I say.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a cool thing to be able to remember that an album like this is coming out on such a memorable day.
It is. It's more memorable even for me because I have twin boys who actually will turn 21 on Valentine's Day, so I have a lot to celebrate.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, yeah, three really cool things going on at once. That's so cool.
Yeah. And another little piece of trivia. Yesterday, one of the people who puts the interviews together for us, she had sent me an email, and she said, wow, Shake the World, which was the title track and single, she goes, it just came into the classic rock chart straight in at number 42. She sent me maybe 20 minutes ago. She says, well, this is crazy. I just sent you that email yesterday. You've just jumped up to 35 today. She goes, there's no stopping this thing. So, happy days.
Oh, that is incredible. I just have a huge smile on my face right now hearing that.
That's a huge jump one day to the next. I'm going, shit. Who'd have thunk it, right?
Well, I mean, that really shows the power of what this song, what your vocals, what this entire band is able to accomplish. And that is just so great to see that something can jump up that quickly. And an album like this is really able to grab someone's attention like this in 2020 because it is an attention-grabbing album.
Yeah, and that's the key. This album in 2020, and it's Frontiers came to Jeff came to me, and I said, well, you know how we are. We love classic rock music, and I'm thinking, okay, classic rock music. What does that mean, right? And we just started shredding in the wood shop, and nobody was really thinking too much about classic rock. It was just, let's write a bunch of songs. You have such a great songwriter in Red Beach, and Jeff Pilson, and equally amazing musicians. So what can go wrong, right? And we just started putting it down and really not discussing what kind of songs or sound we should go for. And we got a really powerful, I think people up front that have heard as much as you have and even Serafino over at the record label was going, wow, I never expected it to be this heavy in places, and just didn't expect it. It's just way beyond anything that I thought was going to come out, because I knew I was going to get something good, but this far exceeds anything that I was expecting. And we're kind of smirking and laughing, and we're going, this is just us doing what we were just having fun. You know, and the songs are well formatted, well written, great melodies. It's just powerhouse, melodic, heavy rock, I suppose, if you want.
Yeah, and that is what I love so much about this album, because sometimes the stereotype is when you get all these great musicians together, they just sit together and they just write an acoustic album or a soft rock record or something like that. And you are showing that when you just come together and you write the music that you want to, sometimes it can come off sounding like some of the heaviest material that any of you have ever done.
That's the best way anybody's ever put it to me, and you're absolutely right, because, you know, about 2 years ago, Serafino called me personally, and he goes, you know, I think you're probably the only one that's not on the label. And I went, yeah, I thought there was, you know, I wasn't taking it personally. And he goes, I think it would be really good, and I'd like to make a record with you, and I have some great in-house writers, which he does, and producers. But I was so busy with the Vegas show and Schenker that the timing was all over the place. And in addition to that, I didn't want to just churn out another record for the sake of it, you know, with a bunch of people that I wasn't familiar with working with. So about a year ago, Jeff Pilson calls me, and Jeff and I go all the way back to McAuley Schenker days. You know, Jeff was also my best man, so I'll be 27 years married this year, so that tells you how long I've known him longer than that, you know? And so we are great friends. We live pretty close to each other. And he does a lot of work for Frontiers. He said, hey, Serafino called me, told me the whole deal, wants me to put a project together. And the first name I came up with was Red Beach. And he goes, of course, the second one is you. And he says, I want you to be the singer. How do you feel about writing with Reb? And I went, that's kind of a no-brainer. And I said, but you're playing bass, right? And he goes, no, I won't be playing bass because I'm going to produce and do the co-writing and engineering, and I'd like to take a step back from it. And I went, well, that's never going to happen, Pilson. You're going to play bass. That's all that's to it. Reb said the same thing, and, you know, he had a bunch of bass players all lined up, and I went, yeah, whatever. You know? And I thought, man, if we can have a band with Jeff Pilson and Red Beach, and Matt Starr came in at the end because all the tracks were written, and there were other drummers that were slotted, but scheduling and all of that sort of stuff because we're all crazy, stupidly busy. And so the songs were written, and I had mentioned Matt Starr to Jeff because I work with Matt sometimes in the Las Vegas show, Raiding the Rock Vault. And Matt heard the tracks, and he goes, oh, dude, I'm there. He came in to Jeff's studio and absolutely killed it, and put that extra ingredient with his fire and power. And we ended up with a pretty powerful, not overproduced, real-sounding, melodic hard rock record, and it's the best thing I think I've ever done. I'm so happy. It's just terrific. You know, it couldn't be in a better place.
Oh, and it's so great to hear that as well too. I mean, the fact that all four of you just like came together this way, and then you know, with Matt Starr coming in at the end and being able to layer those great drums on top of everything that
right?
You three have been able to accomplish. I mean, I couldn't imagine hearing this album with another group of musicians. I mean, I'm glad to see it came out this way.
You know, thanks for saying that. You know, Red made a statement some time ago, and he said, I can't imagine, and I wouldn't want to have any other singer than me on it. And I'm going, oh, dude, Red Beach just said that about me, you know? And I don't take that lightly. I do not take it lightly. He's an amazing guitar player, an amazing songwriter. Look at his history just with Winger alone, and then on into Whitesnake. That's some staying power right there. Get him into Black Swan. He's a different person in Black Swan. He just became this monstrous guitar player. It's pretty nasty in places, and his songwriting is just worth his weight in gold. And together with the likes of Pilson, it's just, how can you go wrong right there? And we never really structured anything. We never sat down and had the whole big, serious conversation about the song has to sound like this. It was nothing like that at all. Never even once. It was just, sure. Hilton, went to see Bohemian Rhapsody, came back home, sat at the grand piano, and had this great idea, put it down. It became this great song called Divided, and there was only half of the song written. He sends it to me at about midnight, and I heard it. I came in the next day, made a couple of changes, and so we have the whole first half of a song. And Reb's going, what do you mean the first half? This is the song. And he goes, no, there's more. You just have to come up with a riff to finish it, And so he's in the studio, Jeff will put it, and he's going, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? And Jeff's recording him all the time, and he goes, I got it. And I came in and put the vocal on, and bam, we have Divided, united. A very poignant lyric for what's going on at the time, making our little saying our piece. And that's kind of how the record went. They'd just start shredding, send me stuff, and I'd come back and I'd go, what about this? And it just took off. It was just so much fun to do, because stuff like that can be a chore, and this was like real easy and good professional people. And, we spent more time talking and joking in between songs. I'm lucky we got anything done, But we did. We got it finished.
And again, I love hearing that too. When you're able to form a band like this, the writing process can go as smooth as it is like this, and you're working with people that you love to work with, that you're able to have a good time with, have that musical chemistry, being able to joke around and everything. To me, that always comes off with the greatest album that you possibly can write together, because it feels like there's no restrictions. It doesn't feel like there's any hassle putting these songs together. It's just like it feels like it was meant to happen, and again, that's exactly what this album feels like.
There's a level of being humble and respectful, because there's such a pedigree here with these guys, and it's that level of respect that when something's going down, it's not that it's not questionable. There's no need for a discussion, because it's just that good. That sounds a little pompous, but it's just that good. You don't have to question the guy's ability, because it's already been spoken for, And when that guy plays guitar, dude, it's like, hello, somebody just came into the room, and you take notice, and it's a great place to be. And I'm sure as a drummer, it's just like, did you feel that, And it's just, you don't have to question it. It's good to go right from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. When you hear those right guitar riffs, and when you got someone like him being able to come up with those guitar riffs, when you feel that right one, that is a great feeling, and knowing that this is going to be an incredible song when everything comes together.
Yeah, the first song that we wrote was Big Disaster. I came into the studio, and they sent some music. I came in, and I went, hey, look, I got an idea for this. So I started singing the lyric and the melody, and Reb stops, and he goes, oh, dude, this is like the first time we've really worked together, and now you're coming to call this Big Disasters. They'll kill us if we come up with it. And he goes, it's probably not the best title for a brand new project. And I went, yeah, but it's not going to be the album title. And then you hear his guitar solo on this track, and it got released as a second single, and it's just, dude, it kills,
Oh, it really does. And it's one of my favorite guitar solos on the album, too.
Yeah, it's awesome, right? It's really awesome. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's really killer.
I love the fact that that's the first song that was being worked on as well, too, because, it's just like, that feels like such a great second track on the album, and, just like a really starting to get that energy and flow going together. And knowing that was the first song that was being written for the album, that is just so cool.
I know, and where do you go from there, right? And when they sent me the music for what became Shake the World, I was scared, because I was listening to that opening riff, and I'm going, oh man, what am I going to do with this that I don't mess it up, And I came back to the studio to Jeff, and we would always do like an hour or so of like pre-production, just see what I had, and then make sure that the whole format was good for the song. That's all that matters at the end of the day, is do we have a song, And I came in with Shake the World, and Jeff said, oh dude, this is the album title right here. This is where this is going. And it is the album title. It was was the first track that you guys got to hear. And when I heard the final mix of that, even before the final mix, I'm going, holy shit. I always wanted to make a record like this, you know? And so we have it, and it's great. I mean, I can't say enough great things about our own record. Isn't that conceited?
you know, even with that in mind, conceited or not, I mean, the fact that the title track is already a top 40 rock song here, I mean, it really is shaking the world.
Oh yeah, it's like, you know, some people are going, dude, so when you wrote this, you know, Shake the World, is that what Black Swan wants to do? And I'm going, you can take whatever you want out of it, you know. It shook me up.
Oh, that's great. You know, again, with that in mind, you know, just like everything just coming together the way that it has. I mean, everything from the formation of the band and now the album coming out a week from today. What's going to be going on next after the release of the album?
Well, I think we've all said that, you know, like everything else, you know, you can talk all day about it, how great you think anything is, and then, you know, it drops on the release date, and it falls way short of whatever you thought. So I suppose, on a serious note, we'll see how it's perceived, what people think about it, you know, how many comments, good comments, likes we get on it. That kind of sets the pace for what might or might not transpire for the band. Ultimately, we would love to take it live. Red has an incredibly busy schedule with Whitesnake and Winger, as does Jeff with Foreigner, as do I with not just the Rock Vault, but with Schenkerfest as the year goes on. And then, of course, Matt's very busy. He's going to get busy again with Mr. Big, and he's really so. When you put all of that together in a big pot, you go, damn, there's no room for the veg in here, you know. And we have to make room for that. We have to make room for that extra ingredient, and that extra ingredient being, how can we take Black Swan live? And ultimately, that's what we will be working towards. I just heard last night, actually, that come September, Foreigner will be slowing down for the year. So there's a window of opportunity somewhere after that, provided the other three of us can accommodate the same thing. I'm very positive. I'm a great believer in, if you want it to work, we'll make it work. That's how we see it.
Oh, and again, I'm just so happy to hear that too. I mean, obviously, with all four of you being incredibly busy with everything that you got going on, and you know, just the idea that there can be some shows coming up in the future. I mean, as great as the album does sound, and I love being able to listen back to it and really enjoy the sound. I can't wait to see how this translates into the live setting.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I've always loved is in all my years working with you know, such a guitar god like Michael Schenker, anytime we would go into the studio, one thing that was always top of the pile was, we don't put anything down on this record that we can't reproduce live. And we, you know, in all of the shows that we continue to do, you know, the resurgence of all of the singers from Schenker were going out, and people are going, cannot believe that this sounds almost better than the record itself. Because Michael Schenker, for one, when he plays something on an album, and you can take this from me, when he plays something on an album, when you go to see him live, he plays it note for note. It doesn't matter how complex the piece is. He plays it and he goes, well, it's on the record. I have to play it just like the record. And that's what he does. And it's no different with Black Swan. I love to, what I do in the studio is to do it live, because I, myself, am a real stickler for, if I hear a song on the radio or I buy an album and I'm listening to it in my car and I fall in love with a particular piece or a whole song, I'm going, oh man, if I ever go to see this live, I want to hear it just like this. I don't want any sort of shortcomings and, you know, somebody else trying to reproduce something that they made impossible because they used too many studio tricks, you know, and then it falls short. Yes, sometimes it's not bad to hear a little a different version live, but I want to hear the main part of the engine ticking when I get there. I don't want some sort of cheap version of it, you know, because you can't reproduce it. So that's important to me.
Oh yeah, and it's important for the audience as well too. I mean, when you just have everything focusing on backing tracks and everything like that, yeah. I feel like there's so much authenticity that does get taken away from it, and that's what I appreciate from hearing with Black Swan, because it just feels like it's a real album, and that's also what why I love that you're working with Michael Schenker again with Michael Schenker Fest, and you know, the fact that you know, there was a lot of time that had passed, but now you've been a part of two killer albums under the Michael Schenker Fest lineup.
Yeah, and it's great. And I can assure you that when we go out, we just did the Resurrection tour, and this will be the Revelation tour from the last record. And if you get the opportunity to come out, it's a 2.5-hour show with Schenker, because with 4 singers, it's there's a lot of stuff to cover. But I can assure you, it's as near as damn it to what you hear on the record. It's pretty awesome. It's very powerful. And I hope I can say the same for Black Swan, and I'm very confident of that.
Yeah, and, with that, I mean, with everything that you got going on in your world right now, I mean, with a Rock Vault being able to capitalize on the Vegas scene, being able to work with Michael Schenker again, and being able to go on the road occasionally with Michael Schenker Fest when that goes out there, and hopefully everything that will continue with Black Swan, especially with that incredible news of being able to hit the top 40 singles charts.
And that's what we need, because that gives us the incentive to take this to the next level,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact that if you can hit in the top 40 in 2020, no less. I mean, I can't wait to see what's going on in the future.
This is only in 2 days. This just happened in 2 days.
Yeah,
it came in yesterday, 42, jumps to 35 today. I'm going, damn, by Monday, who knows where we'll be? back at 100.
Oh. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, because, I mean, that is such a great song to be able to see hit the top 40, and I'm glad that song in particular was able to do it, because, like the message of Shake the World, and, it's just like, even in the music world, you are shaking up the world right now, and it's so great to see that.
Yeah, and it needs a little nudge. We're going to give it an extra nudge, Josh.
Absolutely. And, I think with that, that's an amazing note to end on. And thank you so very much for taking the time to have this amazing conversation. I've just had an amazing time being able to talk to you about everything going on in your world right now. And, of course, the brand new album from Black Swan, Shake Your World, coming out a week from today on Frontiers Music. I love this album from start to finish. It was an album I didn't even know that I needed until I received it, but was able to check it out and just loved it from start to finish. And being able to talk to you, this was just an incredible time. The big smile I got on my face right now, being able to talk to you, so many great laughs, so many great stories. This is just so cool, and thank you for that.
I did. Thank you very much for taking the time, and happy Black Swan Friday from me.
Oh, I love it.